I apologize for having been neglecting this for a while. I've been very busy with life pursuits and such, trying to, you know, get back under my feet and all that. And I'm speaking a little softly because it is it is late, and in fact, it is about 11:30 local time. So yeah, um, I'm gonna try and catch up a little bit on what's been going on the last few weeks with D&D encounters. I did start out with my Hexblade in Salem, but after 1 week going down to there, traffic was really, really brutal. So, excuse me. What I ended up doing was I ended up finding a group up around here, up around Portland, lot lot closer. And what I did was I brought out uh, a half-elven war priest named Caliph, and she was my go-to girl. And the weird thing is, the group that I ended up being in Guardian camps, because they had several groups going, because they had quite a lot of people. Uh, the group that she ended up being in, she's the only good character, really. All the other characters are unaligned at best. And in fact, one of the characters is even a vampire, so she has to be very careful about how she aims her radiant damage, lest her vampire buddy accidentally get torched. Fortunately, they both share a common language, primordial, so they can talk to each other, and she can tell the vampire when to get down or cover himself with his cape, you know. So that makes things a little easier. I'm sorry I'm rubbing my eyes so much. Like I say, it's late and I'm really sleepy because I was up playing various different games and also had a lovely fit of insomnia last night, so my sleeps uh, sleep schedule's kind of little, so yeah. But anyway, other notable things of the past week is that my character's kind of taken on the de facto leader role since she's really the only leader archetype character in the group. So a lot of the things that have required someone to be talking to, say, kings and such on an equal level has somewhat fallen to my character because of the way things just worked out with our characters. So, yeah. So, you know, it falls to the priestess of Palor to do a lot of the heavy talking. And actually, that came with a little interesting twist this last session because we ended up fighting against a drow and an orc who had managed to infiltrate this dwarven keep. And when we finished off the drow and the orc, uh, one of our characters, who was, I don't remember the exact full name, but they were an assassin character with a very, very macabre name, and the player is very much into playing that character up as a sociopath. Actually managed to steal the Drow's face. I'm not going to go into details for those of you who are squeamish, but yeah, managed to basically steal the face and was going to use it as a mask for infiltration in future. And it actually got to the point where we were up in front of this dwarven king, and they wanted to know where like the seamstresses would be, where they could get some like thread. And at that point, because of all the talking that this person had done that was really kind of detrimental to the group, the DM had appointed my character to be spokesperson for this person, all in character, of course, had done that through the Dwarven King. So, they ask about that. I look at the DM and I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm not telling that to the king. No, no, no. And the DM was like, wise decision. And so yeah. But other notable feats. Um, Besides that, and figuring out I can talk to the vampire and primordial to warn them when I'm about to use radiant damage attacks. Uh, we may have inadvertently started an orc civil war because during the actual first session that I was at Portland, bringing in Caliph for the first time, she, our characters ended up being captured by orcs and brought before the Grand Orc King, and we basically had to try and convince some tribes of orcs that were on the fence to not not just go crazy and go full on war. And the way we did that was we had one of our characters go out and fight champion. Wasn't me, but yeah. So we managed to do that, but then of course the tribes that wanted to go to war were even more vocal about it, even though it was basically, you know, half and half at that point. So yeah, work Civil War. Go us. And we kind of figured out that the reason why my character's hanging out with these evil characters is that's basically what her character flaw is. She is so devoted to Baylor that she thinks that she can convert anybody. So even this one character who's a devotee of Asmodeus, which, if you don't know D&D lore, is pretty much the equivalent of Satan, the lawful evil equivalent of Satan. So yeah, um, this last session actually the most fun parts uh, was in order to get into that Dwarven Keep before we even got to meet the Dwarven King, we had to slip past a massive orc siege that was basically trying to starve out the dwarves. And in order to do that, we had to infiltrate this tent on the outskirts first to and do it stealthily so that we could obtain intel about what was going on with this particular invasion. And since we had a surprise round, we all got to do one action beforehand. Uh, my dear Caliph managed to rush in and decapitate an orc that was standing guard with a single blow of her mace. Decapitation with a bludgeoning weapon. Not an easy thing to do. But I managed to do it largely because I think I made a critical hit. So and it was a minion character. If you if you're fighting minion characters, pretty much any hit kills them. Their HP is and defenses are that low. So if you hit them at all, they're dead. If you critical hit them, they're really most sincerely dead. And like I said, I critical hit with a basic melee attack, which is the only kind of attack you can use on a charge, but critical hit, so I managed to literally knock its block off, and none of its companions were any the wiser because they were all looking in different directions, and apparently they're all death exposed if they can't hear the sickening crunch of giant metal spiky ball on Orc Skull. So, yeah, that was my most crowning achievement, and really. Um, yeah, I actually, that session, I rolled really, really well. I rolled quite a few critical hits when it came to attack rolls. I don't know how, but I managed to. But, you know, not complaining. Some days you get those lucky rolls. Next week, I may be rolling botches. So take them while you get them. Uh, yeah, it's been leveling up every week. Unfortunately, I'm a week behind, so that means while everyone else is at level 4 and getting all kinds of neat things, Caleb got the boring level up at level 3. But yeah. Um, Also in recent weeks, I picked up the free uh, kind of beta version of the D&D Next that I've been looking over that. Well, I haven't gotten to look over that all that much, unfortunately, but I've been meaning to. I have it so that I can look over it so I can kind of get a little fair warning about how it looks. It looks to be kind of somewhat of a cross blend between 4th edition and 3.5, at least from what I've been hearing from people who've been looking over it. Which, for some people, that's a good thing because, I mean, there's a reason Pathfinder exists because people just didn't like 4 for some reason. Go fig, you know. But I did that. I also picked up Dungeon the Dungeon Master's Guide for 4th edition because I figured I want to become a DM eventually myself. I I have decided that, and I figure I might as well start with the system that right now I'm most familiar with. I do have a little bit of familiarity with Pathfinder, but my game playing experience has been 4th edition, specifically 4th edition Essentials. So I'm going to start with that and learn how to do that. Like I said, I will also be reading through the core rulebook for Pathfinder to get familiarized with that so that maybe I can DM a little bit of that. Using some of the tools on Wizards of the Coast website. I even made like a single shot test encounter for 4 players. I know of at least one person who would play through that, maybe 2. So if I ever decide to do a playtest, I would need to find a couple more people who would be willing to run a test through 4th edition. And it's actually kind of the feeder for this idea for a campaign that I've got going through my head. Maybe I'll give more details on that in future D&D vlogs. So that's really all I've got. Not a whole lot to say this week because I'm basically trying to squish like about 3 or 4 weeks worth of stuff into this one. Until next time, I'm Jeremy the Shadowbird, and see you later.